Hey, how y'all dickheads doing? It's me once again, Dick Record, coming to you live from the studio in New York City. I just said goodbye to this format. I'm done drafting and I'm sorry. I'm not a big fan of this set. As you'll see here, this is going to be the pack opening and my thoughts on the format. I got 93 packs after, I think, 15 drafts plus whatever other packs they gave me. So, without further ado, let's see the crazy crap that we're going to get in here. Whoop. Let's pop open 10 because of dopamine. Oh my god. Let's see. Only 10 rares? Wow. Wow. Well, I guess 4 of them are mythics, right? Vein Ripper. I did want some of those. Alquist Prof. That was a fun draft card. Vein Ripper was dumb. If you played that in your draft deck and you resolved it, it was just like, cool. I guess I just win. Oh, wild card. I'll take that. Buzz Crusher was actually kind of bad because that monkey would just come down and sometimes snipe it. Assassin's Trophy. This did need a reprint, but I don't think it was very good in the format because there were many times. Ooh, Tulsimir was very good. There were many times where you would just Assassin's Trophy your opponent's thing, and then they'd go, "Oh yeah, now I could finally play my off-color splash." Izoni, like you might have seen in the last video. I wasn't a big fan of this format. A little bit. So it's weird because they were trying to get away from a faster format by putting an emphasis on these disguised creatures, right? 3 mana, play a card face down. It's a 2/2 with ward 2. Because you couldn't just have 2/2 creatures in the format because they printed shock into the format, which we didn't get one here, but you know. The bombs really mattered, and you had a high chance of getting a lot of them because these packs had multiple rares per pack. I'm sure that there are people right now at the Outlaws of Thunder Junction pre-releases that are just opening 6 or 7 on-color rares, playing them all and just like not even having games against their opponents, just sweeping their opponents. This is weird though, because these packs can have 2 rares. Although I guess these are the arena packs, which are supposed to have like 1 rare or mythic, which ignores. This is a terrible draft card, which ignores the. I never drafted this card. It kept getting passed to me, and I was just like, nah, it's terrible. It ignores the additional sheets that were in these packs, right? Archdruid's Charm. This is a fun card. I just wish it wasn't triple green. Ezram. Ezram is a fun card. I don't know, there's something about this format. Like, it was either too fast or you got outgrinded by somebody who really knew how to grind. I wish I knew how to grind better. I love more mid-range sets. Like, I really enjoyed Strixhaven, right? Continue. Let's open these one at a time. I really enjoyed Strixhaven because it was so mid-rangey, right? You could really outgrind an opponent, and that's fun for me, you know? You get to play the cards that you drafted, you know? As opposed to going like, all right, 1 drop, 2 drop, 3 drop, in turns 1, 2, and 3, you're playing, let me start that over again. You're playing against Boros, they go 1 drop, 2 drop, 3 drop, and suddenly at the end of turn 4, you're at like 8 life, and you're just looking and going like, I play a more face down? And then the next turn they go, land, attack with everything, and you go, I guess I sheepishly block, and then they go on the job, and then they just win, because your board is decimated. They get to draw a card off that clue token, and they just won 3 combats, and it's just like, cool. And you're at 2, you know? Granted, that's what Boros tends to do, but the Boros deck was the aggressive decks were very, very good here. They were super good. And so, like, your grindier colors, like, black wanted to be a grindy color. Blue sort of wanted to be a grindy color, right? So it had a lot of, like, 1-for-1 removal, and you couldn't risk that because there were so many cards at common that would just go like, oh yeah, here's two things. Here, this is a rare, but right, like, Drag the Canal is, if something died, it was an instant speed 2/2 creature, right? Which is already fine, right? But if something died this turn, it's also a 2/2 creature. You gain 2 life. You serve Veil 2, and it replaces itself with the Clue token. Like, this is wild for a rare. This thing, Sanitation Automaton, ended up being better than it looked like because it could trade for those disguised creatures, right? Absolutely wild. Absolutely. 69 packs, nice. I don't think I drafted enough of this format to actually fill out a collection, and that's fine. I wasn't going to draft a lot of this set regardless. Niv Mizzet. So this is what's funny is that I thought that this format, because of all the fixing, or rather the duels being at rare, all 10 of them, mind you, which is wild. I don't think they've ever done that in a set where they put all 10 cards from a land cycle at rare in a single set. Usually they want to split it between 2 sets, you know, just to get people to buy more packs, right? So it was wild that they had all of them, but they could also just like randomly show up in packs. So sometimes you'd open up packs with 3 rares. So I thought that the 5-color deck was not going to be good. And then the second to last draft I did was like 5-color, and it worked really, really well. And like one of the cards that was in it was like Vein Ripper, which is a 3 black mana card. It still worked. The deck still functioned, and it still boggles my mind to this day. It did outgrind my opponents, but you know. Cards like Soul Search are bad. These lands, it didn't feel super great to have to draft fixing like this over other cards, but also they were rare, so it was just like, well, that's not going around. Somebody is probably just rare drafting, and if that's on my colors, maybe I do take it, you know, because making your land drops that much better sometimes really mattered. Really, really mattered. I wish I could see how many of each card I have. But yeah, you wanted to, even though you kind of were guaranteed because of Disguise to play a 3-drop on turn 3 that was just a 2/2 with Ward, you still wanted to play a 2/2, or sorry, a 2-drop that did something, because otherwise you could get left behind. And so many of these newer formats are like super duper fast. A Red Herring, here's a dumb card that's just like, oh yeah, did you play a 2-drop? I'm gonna hit you with this. It doesn't matter. Assemble the play. Oh, and if it was like pointless on a board, you could either play it after. If it did nothing on the board, you play it after your combat phase, so that you don't have to attack with it, and then you use it as a blocker and you sacrifice it to draw a card, which is for 4 mana fine, right? If that attacker didn't have trample, you took no damage and it got you a card, so that's great. Assemble the players. You would think that this as a 2-drop would be great. I think I had one opponent ever get any cards off of it, and I still beat them, because it still meant that they took their second turn off to do like essentially nothing, right? There were too many do nothing cards here. Let's open another 10. I don't have many thoughts on this format. I don't like best of 1. For this set I was doing mostly best of 3s. Wow, no mythics. I was doing mostly best of 3s. Doppelgang. My first sealed had like 2 doppelgangs and a what's her face? Zatanna? Zalortha? Whatever her name is? Zigantha? And I still did poorly with it, because I didn't know how good this card was, and I didn't know that I was supposed to be ramping, and also I don't know, I guess the format was just too fast. Doorkeeper Thrall, terrible card. Like some of these cards are wild. Like Lost in the Maze was just like, oh yeah, that removal spell is now useless. It doesn't do anything. A board wipe in red blue, fantastic. This card replaces itself and makes something already out bigger. Hunted Bone Brute, you never played this face up, you always played it face down. Look at that dog token though, so cute. What a good guy. He just wants to do a good job for his master. Tolsimir, there's a card that's even more egregious than this in the next set. It makes like a 6/5 and a 6/6 if you play it on curve, and it's wild. It's a Paul Bunyan reference. I thought Tolsimir, Midnight's Light, was already like, that's more than enough, thank you. So yeah, I'm not super thrilled with the next set because of how Prince the format's looking already. You know, Aurelia's Vindicator, that was a dumb card. I lost to this card so many times. Incinerator of the Guilty. This card was basically, can you kill this? Well, then say goodbye to your board. It's a very controlling red card. And it's weird because you can't really splash it at double red. Or you can, I don't know. You live your best life. Cryptic Coat was fantastic. But this card was essentially, can you either trade with it and have your have none of the damage get through, or could you remove it immediately? If you could not do either of those, you lost the game to this card. And I kind of hate cards like that, you know? But it is what it is. Cryptic Coat was wild, but at least you had a game against it, you know? Steam Core Scholar was like, that's great, actually. A Windrake with Vigilance that also loots for you? Sure. It looted that one time, whatever. It's still great. Vindicator was absolutely stupid. It's Oblivion, I think it's Oblivion Ringing. Like, your opponent's entire board could just lead to you pulling off a game at the end, and it's just like out of nowhere. But yeah, this format was a little too fast. And you know, like Mark Rosewater did make an announcement saying like, hey, we're aware that people are kind of not thrilled with how fast these recent formats were. So they know. But man, power creep is getting bad. Leyline of the Guild Pack was bad. What a bad draft card. And meanwhile, like if you were drafting in paper, you might just be tempted to take it because it was like a $12 card. So it paid for a good chunk of your, I never drafted a Planeswalker, this Planeswalker in this format. You might be tempted in paper to just like first pick it because it paid for like half of your draft. Right? Rakdos! I'm convinced that Rakdos is Spanish for draw 2. You see, the dos is Spanish for 2, so Rak clearly means draw, right? Every time I resolve this into my opponent's like middling board and, you know, like tapped out board state, it was just like, okay, it replaced itself with 2 cards because your opponent's not going to want to sacrifice 2 real creatures or 2 real permanents for this thing. So like, why? You know? Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. And it's another card that, you know, if your opponent resolved, either you dealt with it now or you lost. 2 mythic wild cards, not bad, not bad. What's my vault? 532. All right, continue. And we're at 69% of the total set. I'm not going to get, we're at 71% of the total set. I'm not going to get very, very, very close to filling it out. I know this. Vanifar, that's what it was. I had a Vanifar and 2 Doppelgangs in my sealed deck, and it just wasn't enough. I never drafted Agris Kos, right? Just never. Ansrag's Rampage, terrible card. Look at this. Destroy all the artifacts. Who cares? Case of the Crimson Pulse. Never drafted that either. I'm curious if this was good. Like, it feels like it might be good if you're an aggressive deck. Discard a card, then draw 2 cards. What if your hand is empty? I guess if your hand is empty and you play this, you just draw 2 cards, right? It doesn't say if you do, it just says then draw 2 cards. If you have no cards to discard, I'm pretty sure you just, like, if your hand is basically empty and you cast this, you draw 2 cards. That's actually not bad. Rampage was terrible. I never got to draft this. This is a stupid card. This is a kill on sight card. Otherwise, like, your opponent gets to remove a creature every turn, and it's got double strike vigilance. Deadly cover up. Absolutely fine board wipe. If you really knew what you were doing in the format, this could really hamper your opponent's strategies, right? You got to look at their entire deck hand and everything if you collected evidence, and then go like, well, you know what? Wait, do you pick? Oh, it has to be one of the cards in their graveyard. Okay, so you can't see Izoni later on while you're going through their deck and be like, I get that. Ezreal was dumb. The hardest to splash creature, but also like if you were in a deck that was playing its colors, it was just like, oh my god, a 5/5 that investigates twice that flies. Even if you couldn't protect it, and you never did, you always played this when you had at least 1 open mana, so you can give it hexproof just the one time. Let's open these last few packs individually. Again, very, very fast format, which I'm not a huge fan of, but it is what it is. And I'm curious how my collection's gonna go here, because I feel like this set had more rares than anything and mythics than anything, right? So I don't know if we're even gonna hit 80%, and I didn't try with this, you know. Typically I try to like really pound out drafts, and I lost interest really early on. This is my first cease and desist, because I recognize that destroy all artifacts and enchantments is actually terrible. These lands though are way better than they look. And they're fetchable, you know, for Eternal formats. So being able to fetch and then go like, do you want that now? Oh, Illicit Masquerade. I thought this said Lazy Masquerade at first. Shout out to Lazy Masquerade. Pretty cool horror story streamer. What is this? Assassin's Trophy. Again, like, even if I wasn't black and green, I don't think I would play this. Because, especially early on, it's like, oh, I gotta kill that. And then you ramp them and or fix them perfectly. Same thing for Path of Exile. And that's gonna, or Path to Exile. And that's in the next set, actually, as one of the bonus sheet cards at Rare. So, the next set's gonna be wild, because there's like 3 bonus sheets. And so there's a chance to open four rares in a pack. It's gonna be silly. It's gonna be silly. It's gonna be so dumb. Sealed is gonna be dumb. Because you're just going to lose to somebody that opened the nuts. Draft is going to be dumb. Because sometimes you find like a real open lane, or you just get a bunch of like duels later on, and you splash stuff like Teysa into Rakdos, into Vannifar, you know, and then just like, yeah, 5-color soup, you know. Desert go, desert go, desert go, right? Teysa was wild. I think she was in one of my first drafts. And if your opponent couldn't deal with her, she would just continue to draw you cards and make you spirits. Yeah, this was like a mid-range dream. Unfortunately, the set wasn't built for mid-range. Treacherous Greed. What a terrible card. Yeah, never drafted that. Just terrible. Like, oh yeah, my one creature hit you. Well, it had enough evasion to hit you, but I'm gonna sacrifice it to draw some stuff. Not worth it, realistically. You're 3-for-1ing yourself, or you're trading one of your cards for 3 mystery cards. Oh, here's another card that every time I saw it, I was just like, get that hideous thing away from me. Collect Evidence 6. There's no Spells Matter deck in this format. Why did they put like so many Spells Matter cards in like blue-red at the upper rarities? Kylox and then his it's Volt Strider. I don't know what Kylox is actually. I know it's a lizard person. Like a lot of government figures. Conspiracy theory. Sorry. I'm gonna get this video flagged for all sorts of stupid crap. That was like 90 packs, and according to Untapped, I only have 73% of this set. That's a mythic wild card. I'll take it. I have 69 mythic wild cards. Nice. I have the 20 play-in points, but I haven't used them yet. And I do want to record that if I try to qualify for anything. But even if I do, I don't know if I'd ever go for this. Oh, what a whimper. What a wet fart. The last pack I opened from this format. Here's an Anzrag's Rampage. Ugh. One of the heads of the design team should have just came by and gave me the middle finger and then like farted in my room where I'm streaming from, rather than me just opening that. That's terrible. I hate Anzrag's Rampage. I bet I'm missing like a bunch of things too. Let's look at the collection. Hold on. I didn't open so many packs. All right, let's look at the collection real quick, because I want to see what I don't have. There's a lot, because this set had a lot of rares and mythics. We did fill out a lot of what's it? Ooh. Wow, I'm surprised that there are so many like gaps in the commons and uncommons, like Wrench. I have a playset of Vindicators, of course. Of course. Collected, not collected, rare mythics at Murders. Okay, so actually, you know what? First, we're going to look at not collected. I want to see how many cards this is. Okay, that's not terrible. That's not terrible. I didn't draft a Kellen? I could have sworn I played with a Kellen. I know I didn't draft Massacre Girl or Outrageous Robbery. I never touched Audience with Trostani because that card seems stupid. This card is too good for me to draft. Like, why? Why would I ever draft that? Tomic. I've seen this once. I'm not convinced that this is a real card. I'm not convinced that this is actually in the set. I think that this is like some alternate reality thing. I've never, ever seen this card drafted. Never, ever. I don't think this is a card in the set. I think this is like something that you just can redeem for. What is this? Affinity for planeswalkers. Flying and vigilance. Whenever an opponent attacks with creatures, if 2 or more of those creatures are attacking you and or planeswalkers you control, that opponent loses 3 life and you draw a card. What is this? What is this? Attacks with creatures. What else do you attack with? 1. 2. If this is like the reverse Aurelia, and which I could have sworn I drafted at some point. I remember playing with this War Leader's Call. I know I didn't draft that. Urgent Necropsy, I'm not lucky enough to draft. The same thing for Robbery and Voya. Draw a card for each wolf you control. This is not in the draft set. This is definitely not in the draft set. I know that Massacre Girl is. Alright, so there's 3 cards here that I don't think they're in the draft set, actually. It's Tomic. Are they considered standard legal? Voya and Melik. Yeah, these aren't real cards. I think these are like the pre-release cards that just go, that you can't play. Cause this is dumb. This is dumb. This reads like a commander card. This reads like a commander card. Number of elves you control. There's like 3 elves in this set. And there's like, what, 2 wolves and one of them is a token? Weird detective. Oh god. Weird detective. Yeah, he sure is a weird detective. Well, they are. I guess I see pecs. I don't see boobs. All right. The toughness of each equal to twice the number of instant and sorcery cards in your graveyard. So this card is pointless because there's no spells deck. First instant or sorcery spell you cast each turn costs 3 less to cast. Again, no spells deck. So you wouldn't draft this regardless. Tomic, that would have been a bomb. Voya, I think, would have been fine. Trample, Vigilance, Ward 3. Stupid. But yeah, I'm missing these cards. Sure. According to my profile, and if you want to, you know, you could add me and just watch me complain. 95% of the sets somehow. But I'm missing like 2 uncommons. And these are all the yeah, whatever. I'm not gonna fill that out either. I'm not gonna fill that out. This is dumb. If you enjoyed hearing me complain about this set, you know, hit that thumbs up button, guys. But that's it for me. I am out of here, and we'll see if Outlaws of Thunder Junction is any better. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that I'm wrong about it being a Prince set. Like, I'm really worried because all of the rares that I've seen look stupid. They look absolutely dumb, and it looks like it for reasons. It feels like if you see rares, you should just take them, you know, and then figure out later in pack 2 and 3. Yeah, I don't know. But I'll catch you guys next time. Same bad time, same bad channel. But yeah, stay safe out there. Don't eat Yellowstone. Remember, if you're not here, you're dickless. Have a good night, folks.